Hey everybody, hope you guys doing all right. So this is an idea for, a revision of the idea I have for the animal area slash sanctuary. And this particular design is going to be very conducive for elements or atmospheres or areas like the tropics and like in Florida or other areas of the world that have a lot of sunshine, wind, and water. Because right here we got the windmills for the water, the windmills for wind generation. So all these windmills will be able to pick up energy or generate electricity, from the turning of their, of the wheels, which turns a turbine, which generates electricity. It can be stored into batteries and used to house, to run this building, as well as perhaps other things too. So you got your windmills up top, and then, you got the sloping spires that will allow the water to fall downwards, already carrying the momentum that they have from falling from the sky. And so we carry that momentum, it collects in the pool, and they can be, the water can then be diverted into chutes. Now, there's two ways I thought about doing this. There's the way that I've shown here on this diagram, which is the water going into, this chute over here. Then you have a chute over here too. And the chutes would go down here to collect water, and the water would then go down here where it's collected and filtered, as well as generating electricity from the momentum of falling downward. And then even again filtering down even further down to the storage area. And you have one more generator right here, as well as chutes to allow the water to come down, even more filtrations, and filtering out. I mean, something about me just wants to keep on filtering. There's a lot of poisons and toxins in the world, and just because water goes through a filter once doesn't mean it's completely clear of all filters and toxins. So why not have, a few different filters to ensure as much purity as we can. So these would be little filters down here, and then you could have pumps that could circulate the water back up, and then you have pipes or hoses that could, help the water travel to this little man-made waterfall that I've designed right here in the middle of the building. And from the waterfall, not only waterfalls are just very good and aesthetically pleasing sights to see, but I think they're also just good for the senses, the sound of the water, just the overall ambiance or the feng shui of any area is, I think, a little bit better when you got waterfalls. So I thought, why not try to use these, the water that's coming down and circulate it, and help move it back up. You could do it that way, or you could just have the water that, as it's falling down, you could just have, tributaries or ways to just move the water so that it just immediately turns into a waterfall. And then as it falls to a waterfall, see, but if you do it that way, it's not going to have the ability to generate. I guess you could have filters up here to get the impurities out. So you could have filters up here, and the water could fall down, and then as it's falling down, it could still then be collected and generate electricity while being circulated throughout the building. So there's two ways of doing it. Because you have just initiatory, the water could just be traversed into the waterfall pretty much immediately from hitting the building, or it could be circulated down into here, down into the storage, and then pumped back up into the waterfall that way. I'm not sure which is the best way. I'll have to break down some numbers and figure out what's the most efficient way to do it, and then that should be the way that leads, is the most efficient way, the best way, the most loving or healthy, most safer way. So but yeah, and then these, the little squares, even though I designed them with a little bit of a curve, but they look like squares. This is to represent hemp solar panels. So I want to have as much solar panels all over the building as possible, and each and every building should have as much hemp solar panels. And again, hemp solar panels, I'm very adamant about using hemp to make solar panels, because other materials that are used to make solar panels are not good for the environment. So we want to make sure that whatever we're using is as good as we can make it. So hemp solar panels are just that much more eco-efficient. I'm not sure they might even be able to generate more electricity than other solar panels, but I know that they're better for the environment. So that's the main reason why I want to use hemp solar panels, and it happens to be beneficial to our cause that you can make them out of hemp plant, as well as many other things from the hemp plant. So yeah, and then here, this would be the front door. Again, this is just a two-dimensional, I think two-dimensional, is that the right word? Two-dimensional design. It's not, so the door obviously wouldn't be right where the waterfall in the mound here is. The door is going to be, further in front, and then the waterfall is going to be in the middle of the building. So it's like, it's just a two-dimensional, diagram. But so this is where the front door would be, and then right underneath the front door could be a little, like, quote-unquote trap door, just, a cellar door that allows one to access the underground area where you got the water generation and the water storage right here. And then of course I've got to design hoses and systems and pumps to help distribute the water where it needs to go, and all this and that. But essentially, yeah, this is just kind of a broad view, very rudimentary, well, not super rudimentary, but it's still rather rudimentary design that I want to share with you guys. And I haven't gone through all the little, excerpts and stuff like that I wrote down here, but I'm pretty sure I covered most, if not all, of the notes that I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah, some of the stuff is just for me to remember. And that's just to give it design of like how, so the waterfall, like again, so not the waterfall is not only going to be a waterfall, but I also want it to be a waterfall that helps perpetuate its own little like river system inside this building. So then the water would fall down here, and then it would be you'd have, you know, pathways that allow the water to travel, you know, to the back of the building, around the building, and then through the sides of the building. So you'd have like a perimeter of water around the whole building, and in the middle you'd have the waterfall, maybe a small little pool or something. So that's kind of what this idea looks like, although it's not the best representation. But that's the idea behind it. And then part of the good works program that I'm talking about will also be in you know, learning how to help rehabilitate or quote unquote train, although I don't like really training dogs. I mean, some dogs are good for training and they can be used for military purposes, security forces, drug enforcement, all this and that, which is good. And I think when I look at these dogs, a lot of the dogs look like they're actually really happy and they like enjoy having purpose. But sometimes when I think of training dogs, I think of like, you know, essentially like, you know, molding them into what we think they should be, instead of allowing dogs to be, you know, true to their own spirit. So I kind of don't like using that word train, but some dogs are very violent and they just need love. So in training people how to incur and help, you know, share more love with these animals that have been abused, I think is an important skill that I would love to offer as an opportunity for people to learn how to do. And you'd have people that are already good at doing it, teaching that type of skill. And then people who want to learn that skill could then go and work at the animal area and help out dogs that need rehabilitation and keep an eye on things to make sure everybody's safe and happy. So, all right, yeah, I think that's good for now. But all right, I love you guys. Hope you have a good day. All right, bye.